Now on CoastTV News.
A first aid kit and a flashlight. What to have on standby during peak hurricane season. Car engulfed in flames. The latest about this scary situation in Millsboro on Sunday evening. 6 months in, President Trump promotes progress and downplays the Epstein fallout.
Relief from the intense heat and humidity. A cooler and drier air mass settles over Delmarva the next few days with cooler temperatures and lower humidity. Forecast details coming up.
This is CoastTV News Today.
Good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Matt Pensick has the day off. Thank you for joining us for our 5 o'clock hour on this Monday morning. We are coming off of a beautiful Sunday, but we have some good news that humidity, it's going to go away. It's going to be even more beautiful and bearable outside. And First Alert meteorologist Bob Trahey is going to tell us about that. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Delmarva. Yes, we get a much-deserved relief from the intense heat and humidity as we're watching a cold front that's moving through Delmarva now, and with it, we're seeing some clouds. We call it partly cloudy. We're not seeing any sprinkles. There are a few sprinkles around D.C. right now, but there's the front just north of Dover right now. That will continue to sink to the south as we go through the morning hours. So still some clouds, maybe a sprinkle, but behind it is that refreshing air mass with much lower humidity levels and cooler temperatures. But right now it's pretty warm out there, mid to upper 70s, 79, Bethany Beach, Lewis 78, Millsboro 76, Georgetown 77, and the dew point temperatures is still muggy, but they're beginning to come down now. They're moving into the 60s as the winds are starting to bend around to the north, and that'll be the case this morning as that front comes through. Still some clouds, maybe still a shower or a sprinkle through mid-morning. Otherwise, we start to decrease the clouds, a northerly breeze kicks in, lower humidity, and by mid-afternoon, it's warm but more comfortable. Mid-80s inland with 70s and 80s at the coast. A gorgeous Monday afternoon and evening on the way as the winds shift to the north and the humidity is lower and temperatures a hair below average, and that'll be the case in the next few days. Slightly cooler temperatures, lower humidity, and dry conditions. More on your forecast coming up a little bit later in the newscast.
All right, thank you, Bob. Now, our top story this half hour, a tornado in western Sussex County in 2023. Some of you watching may remember when that tornado hit the area, killing one man. Recently, people on Delmarva have received multiple severe thunderstorm warnings and at least 2 tornado warnings. Longtime Georgetown local Charlie Koski says he is worried about another one touching down.
It's a little concerning. I've seen the damage that tornadoes have done throughout Delaware.
And in the event that there is a hurricane or a tornado, you want to make sure you are sheltered in a safe space with a flashlight and a first aid kit. This just in, an update to a story we have been covering since 2024. Frank Stiles, a 51-year-old from Millsboro, is expected in court today for charges related to home improvement fraud. According to Delaware State Police, since February 2023, detectives discovered Stiles was operating under several business names and signed contracts with 16 victims for in-ground pool installation that never happened. Police say Stiles received over $1.5 million in payments without even starting those projects. According to the Delaware courts, Stiles is scheduled in court today at 9 a.m. And for more on this, you can visit CoastTV.com. New this morning, transportation issues in Millsboro will take center stage today at the DelDOT committee meeting at Town Hall. According to the agenda, the committee is set to discuss speed limits, stop signs, and signal upgrades for busy Route 24. Officials are set to review plans for a new traffic signal at Plantation Lakes development and a request for a temporary 4-way stop at Route 24 and Delaware Avenue. This will take place this morning at 9:30. Happening today, Delaware Governor Matt Meyer is expected to sign several bills related to healthcare and public health. That's according to state officials. And one of the bills set to go in front of the governor is House Bill 21. Officials say this bans the sale of tianeptine, which is a drug often called gas station heroin. Another piece of legislation ready for Meyer's signature is House Bill 53. This focuses on telephone services and devices for people with deafness, hearing loss, or speech disabilities. Happening today in Milton, a focus on finance. According to the agenda, town officials will present the budget for fiscal year 2026. Officials will discuss and could vote on a resolution they say is related to the scope of work for the Finance Committee. That meeting will take place at 6:30 p.m. at the Milton Library. If you were driving on Indian Mission Road and Fisherman's Road in Millsboro on Sunday evening, chances were you saw a plume of smoke. The Indian River Volunteer Fire Company posted this video on your screen of the response to the fire that was quickly put out by crews. The agency says the black Audi sedan was fully engulfed in flames, but thankfully everyone inside that car escaped safely. Delaware State Police are continuing to investigate the cause of that fire. A controversial rezoning request for the Belmead Farms in Lewis was supposed to go in front of the County Council this Tuesday, but according to a new amended agenda for Tuesday's meeting and the Sussex County Land Use Application docket, County Council will discuss the possible rezoning on September 16th. For background on Belmead, the county's Planning and Zoning Commission recommended conditional approval to rezone farmland along Route 24 from agricultural to commercial. That change could pave the way for new development with apartments and commercial businesses. And the proposed Belhaven Hotel is back in the spotlight as the Rehoboth Beach Planning Commission prepares for a continued public hearing this week. The delay follows concerns from the Planning Commission and locals who say design updates were submitted just 48 hours before the last meeting on June 26th. During that last meeting, developers agreed to submit finalized plans by July 8th, giving officials and the public more time to review. The hotel proposal includes 105 rooms, retail and restaurant space, and over 100 parking spots split between an underground parking garage and street parking. The public will have another chance to weigh in on this development Thursday, July 24th. The future of short-term rentals in Ocean City could be decided this week. Earlier this year, Town Council passed stricter rules on rentals requiring a 5-night minimum stay for 2025 and 2026, and with that minimum becoming 31 days in 2027. But a petition opposing this ordinance gathered more than 1,000 signatures, triggering a special election to potentially override the ordinance. That election is set for Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Convention Center in Ocean City. Starting today in Millville, a week-long road closure on your screen right now is Powell Farm Road between Roxana Road and Burton Farms Road. This will be closed for paving today through Friday, July 25th, weather permitting. There are detours in place for drivers in both directions. And road closures are coming to Salisbury today. The city says Edgemoor Avenue will be closed for paving between 7 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. That will impact the traffic from Northwood Drive to North Salisbury Boulevard. The city says the project is to improve and maintain local infrastructure in Salisbury. And we are now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. President Trump is marking 6 months in office. He's touting his accomplishments so far and looking ahead to trade deals he says are close to being finalized. And new overnight, the president is trying to move past the Epstein files, but his supporters are reluctant to let that go. NBC's Alice Barr shows us the work of his administration over these last 6 months.
I remember I went to Nebraska to get
6 months into his second term, President Trump claiming to have revived the country.
We hit a lot of home runs, and we're going to keep hitting them.
Celebrating passage of his massive tax and spending bill, controversial migrant deportations, and imposing tariffs on trading partners around the world, with U.S. businesses feeling the effects and bracing for sweeping reciprocal tariffs set to hit at the end of the month.
Nothing stops countries from talking to us after August 1st, but they're going to start paying the tariffs on August 1st.
But as President Trump presses ahead with his agenda, Republican infighting over the case of infamous sex offender Jeffrey Epstein not going away.
I'm ticked off at everybody. Look, this thing should have been handled.
The president claiming his poll numbers have gone up among Republicans since what he calls the Epstein hoax, though new CBS polling shows his overall approval rating declining since February, with Republicans almost evenly divided on the Epstein handling, and 89% of those surveyed saying the Justice Department should release all its Epstein information. After a request from President Trump, the DOJ has asked for grand jury transcripts to be unsealed, but pressure is mounting for convicted Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell to testify before Congress, including from former Epstein lawyer Alan Dershowitz.
She is the Rosetta Stone. She knows everything. She arranged every single trip.
The ongoing controversy looming over the Trump administration 6 months in. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And we're just getting started this morning on Coast TV News Today. We still have a lot more news to get to. Coming up, Veteran Feels very special. We'll show you how people came together to celebrate one man in Millsboro. And Rehoboth candidate review with less than 1 month away. We'll tell you what each candidate wants you to know. And a new study finds that healthcare could get more expensive in 2026. We'll tell you what experts say is driving the potential price hike. All that and more as Coast TV News Today continues.
5:12 on our Monday morning. We're mostly cloudy on the Bay Health Cam in Dover right now. 77 degrees, still muggy, but things will improve drastically through the day with a cold front moving through. Right now we're in the mid to upper 70s, but we're going to be seeing the humidity levels dropping too. In fact, some dew points already in the upper 60s, and we'll start to dry things out as the winds are starting to turn to the north. We're seeing partly to mostly cloudy skies right now. We have a front that is dropping through Delaware right now, and maybe a sprinkle out ahead of that. But once that front moves on through, we're going to be seeing refreshing Canadian air building in with much lower humidity as we go through the day. I gave you the green light for the morning commute. Still could see a stray shower, but it won't interrupt your travel at all to work. And then our PM commute is looking good. Not as hot, mostly sunny, gorgeous Monday evening and drier conditions. That nice weather sticks around for a few days. More on that coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you, Bob. There's road closures coming to Milford this week. DelDOT says Big Stone Beach Road will be closed for the replacement of a crossroad pipe. This will be between Tobert Road and Gobbler Lane. That work starts Wednesday and is expected to end on Friday. Road closures are coming to Salisbury next week. According to officials, crews are set to work on traffic signal upgrades at 2 intersections along East Main Street. This is set for the intersection of East Main Street and Snow Hill Road and East Main Street and Ward Street. The city says that work will begin July 28th and is expected to last until Friday, August 1st. Consumer sentiment inched higher this week. The survey just released by the University of Michigan puts the economic indicator at 61.8. That's roughly in line with economists' expectations of 61.5. It's a 5-month high, but it has not recovered from the decline spurred by President Trump's trade war. Compared to December, sentiment is down 16%. Affordable Care Act insurers are proposing their steepest premium increases since 2018. KFF, a health policy research group, looked at 105 Obamacare insurers in 19 states and the District of Columbia that have filed rates so far. The CFF found more than a quarter of proposing hikes of 20% or more. The expiration of the enhanced ACA premium subsides as the end of this year is prompting many insurers to hike rates by an additional 4% on average. It's important to note GOP lawmakers did not include an extension of the subsidies in their big, beautiful bill.
Live look at our Spicer Brothers Cam 76 in Salisbury. Starting to see some daylight, and we're going to see much needed relief from the intense heat and humidity the next several days. Cooler and drier air mass is moving into Delmarva as we speak and sticks around for a few days. I'll have your forecast details coming up in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
The time is now 5:17 and we are taking a live look outside at Ocean City this morning. And Bob, we were just talking, we're going to get away from that thick, dense, humid air, which is a nice little break to have, especially if you want to be outside. Just makes it more comfortable.
It really does.
Yeah.
It just makes life so much easier, doesn't it, Elisa? It does. And that's what we have. We have a breath of fresh air coming in the form of a cold front that's pushing through right now. And as it moves through, Canadian high pressure builds in behind this system. So today through Wednesday, it's lower humidity. Dew points will be in the 50s and 60s and very comfortable for late July. Nice to get a break from all that intense heat and humidity this time of year, and we will certainly see that. Right now, we're looking at, we'll call it mostly to partly cloudy skies, nothing in the way of precipitation, but as this cold front moves through, we can't rule out a little sprinkle. I think we're seeing some sprinkles around D.C. back into Virginia. Nothing really that's going to accumulate as this front is sinking to the south. Behind it, Philly's already in that drier air, New York and New England, and this air is is coming right out of southeast Canada around high pressure. And this high will be keeping us nice and cool and drier really the next few days and keeping all the humidity and storminess away, I think, really for much of the week ahead. You can see that stretching from the Dakotas, some of those storms across the Midwest and to our south, but high pressure will be protecting us. Temperatures 76 in Gumboro, 74 in Red, and 76 in Millsboro. It was warm and muggy overnight, and dew points are still high. It's still muggy, but things will change as the winds are going to start to come out of the north. Now this morning, still some clouds. Can't rule out a sprinkle as we go into the mid-morning hours as that front is working through, and clouds too. But then by noon, I think we'll see the clouds begin to decrease from north to south. By mid-afternoon, it's in the mid-80s, but noticeably less humidity with a north breeze, and at the beaches 70s and 80s, so gorgeous conditions. A beautiful evening on the way with 70s and 80s, and finally some comfortable sleeping weather by Tuesday morning. Mid-60s inland, 70s at the coast. Very nice. And then Tuesday is a gorgeous day, the nicest day we've seen in some time. Lower 80s mid-afternoon inland areas, some cooler 70s at the coast with a light north-northeast breeze, and then comfortable once again into Tuesday evening. And then Wednesday morning, another comfortable morning for sleeping. 60s inland, some 70s at the coast. Here is our muggy meter, and we're going to see dew points in the low 60s, so almost in that comfy range the next few days, but noticeably less humidity. But then that humidity climbs again by the end of the week, as I think we're still in good shape Wednesday, but then the winds start to turn out of the southwest. It gets hot for the end of the week, and heading into the weekend, it's still up in the air whether we're going to see showers and storms on Saturday, but I think there's definitely a better chance of seeing those storms heading into Sunday. 86 in Harrington today, 85 in Laurel, 83 in Rehoboth. Refreshing northerly breeze and sunshine and warm temperatures. 85 in Cambridge and Vienna, 86 in Easton, and then 85 in Salisbury, Crisfield, 86 for you, and 88 in Ocean City. Paul Davis 7-day forecast. Fantastic the next few days with low to mid 80s. Tuesday, the coolest day at 83, mid 60s at night right through Thursday morning. 88 on Thursday, 92 Friday. Here comes the heat and humidity back, and I think some storms by the weekend. 93 Saturday, 88 with storms on Sunday. Congratulations to Mark Orzel on winning a brand new umbrella. Mark, by the way, is from Lewis, and that umbrella courtesy of Paul Davis and Coast TV.
In Rehoboth Beach, 3 people are in the running for 2 seats on the Board of Commissioners. They all participated in a forum this weekend at the Rehoboth Beach Volunteer Fire Company. Susan Stewart is a lawyer, a financial advisor, and serves on the city's planning commission. Jeffrey Good is an economist, and Chris Galanti is an urban planner and community advocate. Here's what the candidates want you to know.
My commitment to voters is I will be respectful, I will do my homework, so I'll make informed votes, and I'll work hard to understand what people want and have it reflected in our agenda.
I'm the only one running who will focus on fiscal sanity of the city. I believe we're really headed into the wrong direction.
I bring a data-based approach to decision making. I like to find commonality with my colleagues and work collaboratively on solution and problem solving, and that's the type of perspective that I'll bring.
And Election Day is August 9th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Rehoboth Beach Convention Center. Up next on Coast TV News today, a veteran feels very special what one man has to say to younger generations after reaching a major milestone in his own life. Don't go anywhere. It was a very special occasion over the weekend. Raymond Sproul celebrated his 100th birthday. Raymond is a U.S. Navy veteran, and the festivities took place at the American Legion Post 28 in Millsboro. All of his accolades were on display along with some cake, and he is surrounded by family and friends. And on his special day, he offered some advice to younger generations.
Don't wipe out the history of your ancestors. Learn from your ancestors. I'm hard in genealogy.
And Raymond asked that we give a special shout out to the VA in Georgetown. He says thank you for taking such good care of him. And Bob, we've been talking about some good warm weather that's bearable. So I'm thinking today's a good day for the beach. You said cloudy in the morning, but that's okay. You don't always need the heavy sun.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't always need that blazing sun in the really hot sand. I think we will see clouds this morning, Elisa, at the coast. But I think it's going to improve into the afternoon with afternoon sunshine, temperatures in the lower 80s. Lewis, I think a smooth ferry ride up to Cape May for you with a light north breeze. Mid 80s, more sunshine into the afternoon. The same for Rehoboth. UV index will be extreme or very high, so really be careful in that sun. Still a high angle to the sun. In Cambridge today, morning clouds, maybe a sprinkle, otherwise afternoon sun, mid 80s, lower humidity, and similar conditions for Crisfield. More afternoon sunshine, a high around 83, as the delightful weather will continue for the next several days. Cooler temperatures and lower humidity. Much more on your forecast coming up in the next half hour.
And after the break on CoastTV News today, second 6 months in office will tell you what President Trump says he's accomplished this time around. And help from health bills will tell you what Delaware Governor Matt Meyer could sign today. First aid kit and a flashlight, what to have on standby during peak hurricane and tornado season. CoastTV News today will be right back.
Now on CoastTV News.
A first aid kit and a flashlight, what to have on standby during peak hurricane season. Car engulfed in flames, the latest about this scary situation in Millsboro on Sunday evening. 6 months in, President Trump promotes progress and downplays the Epstein fallout.
Relief from the intense heat and humidity. A cooler and drier air mass settles over Delmarva the next few days with cooler temperatures and lower humidity. Forecast details coming up.
This is CoastTV News Today.
Good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Matt Pensick has the day off. It is 5:30 on this Monday morning, and we are expecting some more nice weather coming off of a beautiful Sunday. So we're going to bring in first alert meteorologist Bob Trahey. But Bob, that warm weather is going to get a little bit more bearable.
Oh yes, that's the key, and the humidity is going to drop a lot, Elisa. Good morning to you. Now we're seeing some clouds this morning, some intervals of clouds and some stars out there right now. Even a few sprinkles possible around DC or Annapolis as we're tracking a cold front slowly making its way to the south. Ahead of it, there are some clouds, so I think we'll see that this morning. But behind it, we're going to see clearing skies, drier air filtering in from the north, and much more comfortable as far as the weather goes. We're looking at temperatures out the door in the mid-70s right now. 77 Georgetown, Millsboro 76, Bethany Beach 78, Lewis 79, and those dreaded dew-point temperatures still high in the lower 70s. Some places dropping into the 60s, but they will come way down as the drier air filters in, and the winds starting to turn to the north now. And we'll see some clouds this morning and maybe a few sprinkles through the mid-morning hours as a cold front is working through, and it will be on the cloudier side. By noon, I think we start to see the edge of the clouds sinking to the south, temperatures in the 70s and low 80s. By mid-afternoon, we should be in full sunshine, lower humidity, 84 in Delmar, 85 Millsboro, 84 in Selbyville. A little cooler at the beaches, 79 Fenwick Island, Dewey Beach 77, and a beautiful evening on the way. Refreshing temperatures in the 80s, maybe some cooler 70s at the coast, but really nice weather conditions as we go through today and the next several days. Ferry riding forecast looking superb. A light northerly breeze should be a pretty smooth ride up to Cape May. Make sure you have the sunscreen. It's going to be a strong sun with temperatures in the 70s and low 80s into the afternoon and lower humidity.
Our top story this half hour, as more tornado warnings are happening, we spoke with people who share tips on how to keep safe during severe weather. Some of you watching may remember when a tornado hit Sussex County, killing one man. Well, recently people on Delmarva have received multiple severe thunderstorm warnings and at least 2 tornado warnings. CoastTV News reporter Zakia Jennings shows us what those who track our weather and keep us safe say are life-saving necessities during this time.
Yep, that was the roofing.
At the end of June, an EF0 tornado touched down in Frankfurt. Just last week, we had this flooding. And another tornado warning issued in the Georgetown area.
It's startling.
Longtime Georgetown local Charlie Koski says he's worried about another one touching down.
It's a little concerning. I've seen the damage that tornadoes have done throughout Delaware.
Sarah Johnson is the warning coordination meteorologist with the National Weather Service in the Mount Holly office, which serves Delaware. Johnson says listening to and understanding the warnings issued are key to staying safe.
When we are talking about severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings, that means a storm has developed, and either we see enough evidence on radar that we have confidence it is going to be severe, or it may produce a tornado, or we have already gotten a report from somebody on the ground that that storm is severe. In that case, you need to be taking shelter. For both of those, you need to be taking shelter inside.
Another key piece of information, having a plan. Timothy Cooper, Deputy Director of Public Safety for the Division of Emergency Management, has a 4-step plan.
Get a kit, get a plan, stay informed, but then also think of ways to get engaged.
Cooper says becoming familiar with your evacuation routes, having at least a gallon of water set aside for each family member in your home, and having a plan with your family, whether to shelter in place or to evacuate, are essential when caught in cases of extreme weather.
Living here on the coast, you never know what the weather is going to bring. In the event there is a hurricane or a tornado, you want to make sure you are sheltered in a safe space with a flashlight and a first aid kit. July is peak season for hurricanes, but tornadoes can happen year-round. You want to make sure you're safe. In Georgetown, Zakia Jennings, Coast TV News.
New this morning, an update to a story we have covered since 2024. Frank Stiles, a 51-year-old from Millsboro, is expected in court today for charges related to home improvement fraud. According to Delaware State Police, since February 2023, detectives discovered Stiles was operating under several business names and signed contracts with 16 victims for in-ground pool installation that never happened. Police say Stiles received over $1.5 million in payments without even starting those projects. According to the Delaware courts, Stiles is scheduled in court today at 9 a.m. Happening today, Delaware Governor Matt Meyer is expected to sign several bills related to health care and public health. That's according to state officials. And one of those bills is set to go in front of the governor is House Bill 21. Officials say this bans the sale of tianeptine, which is a drug often called gas station heroin. Another piece of legislation ready for Meyer's signature is House Bill 53. This focuses on telephone services and devices for people who are deaf, have hearing loss, or speech disabilities. Transportation issues in Millsboro will take center stage today as the DelDOT committee meets at the town hall. According to the agenda, the committee is set to discuss speed limits, stop signs, and signal upgrades along busy Route 24. Officials are set to review plans for a new traffic signal at Plantation Lakes development and a request for a temporary four-way stop at Route 24 and Delaware Avenue. This meeting will take place at 9:30 a.m. If you were driving on Indian Mission Road and Fisherman's Road in Millsboro on Sunday evening, chances are you saw a ton of smoke. The Indian River Volunteer Fire Company posted this video of the response to the fire that was quickly put out by crews. The agency says that black Audi sedan was fully engulfed in flames, but thankfully everyone inside that car escaped safely. Delaware State Police are continuing to investigate that fire. Happening today, communication relating to canals in South Bethany. The Canal Water Quality Committee will gather today to discuss agenda items like water quality monitoring and water treatment options to help improve conditions in the town's waterways. That meeting will take place today at 10 a.m. Also happening today, a focus on finance. According to the agenda, town officials will present the budget for fiscal year 2026. Officials will discuss and could vote on a resolution they say is related to the scope of work for the Finance Committee. This meeting will take place at 6:30 p.m. at the Milton Library. Sunday marked the 6-month anniversary of President Trump's second term in office. According to a post on Truth Social, the president is touting that the United States is the hottest and most respected country anywhere in the world. Also, that his second term is being hailed as one of the most consequential periods of any president, ending the post with happy anniversary.
We hit a lot of home runs, and we're going to keep hitting them.
And the president spent part of Sunday golfing at his national club in Sterling, Virginia. We are just getting started this morning on Coast TV News Today, and we still have a lot more news to get to. Coming up, free from invasive fish, we'll show you an event in Salisbury that rewarded people for helping get rid of those prey. And race weekend recap will show you who came out on top as the NASCAR Cup Series made its annual trip to Dover over the weekend. And police install bike lights will tell you what you need to know about an event offering free safety upgrades for bikers in Ocean View. Stay with us on Coast TV News Today.
5:40 on our Monday morning. The beach is all smooth out, ready to go for the day. Gateway Subaru Cam 78, bright skies, and the sun's up at 5:54. We're looking at temperatures right now in the mid to upper 70s. It's still on the muggy side, but that's going to change as we have a cold front working through. Winds beginning to shift to the north now. We have some clouds out there as the cold front is sliding through. Could see a few sprinkles ahead of the front and some clouds too, but behind it, much cooler and drier air building in later today, and it's going to be around for a few days. Gulf forecast today is looking really good. Some clouds in the morning, some sprinkles possible. Otherwise, afternoon sun and drier conditions and a high of 86. Call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone for your latest forecast, sponsored by Brockstead Mandalis Federico.
Thank you, Bob. An update surrounding Philly's largest labor union and its tentative deal with the city. For the past week, members have been voting to determine if a new contract will be ratified with city officials. Today, those results will be made public. The 9,000 workers in Philadelphia went on strike July 1st. The city felt the impact of that strike, especially where trash collection was concerned. Union and city officials reached a tentative deal July 9th, which would give a 9% salary increase to union workers over the next 3 years. Normal curbside trash and recycling pickup resumed on July 14th. New this morning, if your bike needs lights, the Ocean View Fire Police Department is ready to help. The agency will host its annual bicycle safety checkpoint on Tuesday. Officers say they will be offering free safety guides, and this includes lights that police will help install. That event will take place from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. in front of Taylor Bank on Atlantic Avenue. Big upgrades are coming to the Salisbury Zoo. Officials say one of the more notable improvements includes building a new education facility. The zoo's wildlife ambassador animals are expected to be housed there, and updates will also be made to several animal habitats. They say many of the habitats were built in the 70s and the 80s and are overdue for improvements. They say these upgrades will help the Salisbury Zoo also move closer to gaining accreditation by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums.
After rain caused a red flag delay, Denny Hamlin cruised to a win at the Dover Speedway for the second straight year. The Monster Mile isn't exactly an easy environment to compete in. Just ask Hamlin.
This is one of the more physical demanding racetracks that we go to anyway. It's certainly in the top, I think, 3. Just simply because of the G-forces that it has. You don't have long straightaways to take breaks.
But Hamlin has since learned how to embrace the steep curves that Dover provides. He struggled here early in his career with 5 straight finishes outside the top 20 in the late 2000s. But in the time since, he's learned and adjusted like he always does.
And so I just try to look at it from a very straightforward point of view, numbers point of view, find out where I'm bad, analyze what I'm doing, analyze the best, and then figure out how I can go faster like them, and then give that information to the teams.
So with 2 straight wins here, Hamlin is clearly a fan of the area. So is the owner of his team, former NFL head coach Joe Gibbs.
We love coming here. We had sponsors all day long. It's a huge deal for this part of the country, and we just appreciate that so much.
It's safe to say Dover, Delaware now has the approval and love of both Hamlin and Gibbs. Reporting from Dover, I'm Tyler Aiken, DSN.
In sports, the Camden, Wyoming Little League representing Delaware started off their first day in the Mid-Atlantic Regional Softball Tournament with a 10-0 win over Washington, D.C. in 4 innings on Sunday. They scored 4 runs in the first, 1 in the second, and 3 in the third, 2 in the fourth. Cheyenne Benson started in the circle for Camden, Wyoming and tossed a perfect game. After the game, DSN spoke with Camden, Wyoming manager Shawnee Benson about her team's win and her pitcher's perfect performance.
Great time to build confidence. They were super nervous coming in. Being on television was scary for them. So I think that was a good confidence booster.
And Camden, Wyoming will play New Jersey today at 1 o'clock. And coming up tonight on DSN, your game of the night at 6:15. It's boys basketball with Maryland Supreme Basketball League. Then you can catch the final score at 10:30. Movie and streaming news now. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
Can't stop me now. Sony isn't stopping the release of the next Spider-Verse movie, just delaying it a bit. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, the third film in the hit animated franchise, is now due in theaters June 25th, 2027. 3 weeks later than planned, and when more school kids are on summer break. That'll be just over 4 years since the previous movie, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
I'm being frightened. Give me one good reason why you think someone on this flight wants to kill you.
Sir, can you open the door, please? A London police officer and a murder suspect who claims he's innocent find their flight to Beijing filled with complications in Red Eye. All 6 episodes of the series drop Tuesday on Hulu.
We have to reclaim our #1 status. If we fail in this, I'm turning the resort into timeshares.
There's trouble at La Colinas in the new season of Acapulco. In the present day, Maximo is trying to restore the resort to its former glory, while in 1986, we see the staff trying to outdo a competitor. Eugenio Derbez and Enrique Arazón star. The 4th and final season of Acapulco debuts Wednesday on Apple TV+. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Christopher Nolan's upcoming movie is breaking the box office a year in advance. Exhibitions. They sold about 95% of tickets for next July's The Odyssey, an IMAX 70mm film. The star-studded production includes Matt Damon as Odysseus, with other roles going to Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, and Charlize Theron. And if you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from CoastTV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday.
We're taking a live look at the Spicer Brothers camp in Salisbury. A little hazy, a little cloudy this morning, but we've got much needed relief on the way from the intense heat and humidity. A cooler and drier air mass is moving in, and it will stay around for the next several days. I'll have your forecast details in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
The time is now 5:49, and we are taking a live look outside at Salisbury on this Monday morning. And Bob, we're seeing the sun start to come out, which is always a good sign on a Monday.
Yes.
We need that sunshine.
We do.
Rainy Monday mornings never start the week off well.
No,
so
they don't.
This is a good sight.
I don't think we're going to see rain, Lisa, per se, but we could see a few sprinkles, and I think we're going to see several dry days, but I think we're okay as far as the rain goes and the moisture. Now, we already have a surplus of over 3¼ inches, 3.37 inches. This is in Georgetown, and for the year, we're almost over 5 inches. So that's good news, because I think we are going to have a dry stretch here of 4 or 5 days. So with the cooler and drier air building, you'll probably have to start watering the lawns here in a couple of days. But right now, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies across Delmarva, maybe a sprinkle or two trying to come across the bay. Otherwise, we're looking at a cold front that is sinking from the north to the south, now moving through the Dover area. It continues to settle to the south. Ahead of the front, some clouds, some sprinkles possible, very muggy air. Behind the front, it is much drier as Canadian high pressure is building in from southeast Canada, and this will continue to move in over the top of us, keep the humidity away and the storms, and give us a much nicer situation the next several days, as we'll see lower humidity through Wednesday, dew points in the 50s and 60s, and very comfortable for late July. Always nice to get a break from that intense heat this time of year. Out the door, we're into the mid to upper 70s, 76 Millsboro, 78 Bethany Beach, Rehoboth 78, Lewis 79. Dew points still pretty high in the 60s and low 70s, but these will drop as that front comes through. Winds already beginning to turn in out of the north, a little breezier along the coast, and we'll continue to see those northerly winds. But as that front's dropping through, some clouds this morning, maybe a few sprinkles as we go through mid-morning, and still some clouds hanging on maybe even through the noon hour, and then it dries out. We see the sunshine, mid-80s inland today, 70s and 80s at the coast, noticeably lower humidity, very pleasant through the evening hours, and a little breezy tonight along the coast as we see that cooler air draining in. Tomorrow morning, comfortable sleeping weather into the mid-60s 60s inland, 70s at the beaches, and Tuesday I think is the nicest day that we've seen in a long time. Beautiful conditions, sunshine, low humidity, low 80s away from the coast, mainly 70s at the beaches. And then we're looking at another pleasant night Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning. We're looking at nice temperatures in the 60s and 70s, maybe a few clouds, but we'll be looking at those dew points in the low 60s the next couple of days, keeping us relatively comfortable. Like to see it in this comfy range, but it'll be a little higher than that. And then I think we will get into the very humid air again by the end of the week, as we're still in good shape through Wednesday. Then the winds swing around to the southwest. It gets warm and humid, maybe some showers and storms Saturday, but I think a better chance as we go into Sunday. But around 86 in Dover today. If you're headed to the fair in Harrington, 86, 85 in Cambridge and Vienna, a light northerly breeze and mid 80s from Princess Anne to Ocean City. You'll be in the upper 80s there. Paul Davis 7-day forecast. Gorgeous the next 3 days. Comfortable sleeping weather at night, but getting hot by the end of the week. 92 on Friday, and it looks like some storms into the weekend. 93 Saturday, better chance of storms Sunday, and a high of 88.
Thank you, Bob. In Wycomico County, the rain held off on Saturday for a fishing competition. Anglers cast their lines in the Nanticoke River in Sharptown for Salisbury University's annual invasive fishing derby. The derby targets blue catfish and Chesapeake canna, which prey on striped bass and blue crab populations. Dr. Noah Bresman with SU says in addition to some competitive fun, his lab will be using some of the fish caught for research.
And we can get tissue samples, data, whatever we need from them at this event in front of everybody to kind of show science is accessible. And so this event helps support the research in my lab as well as research of our collaborators like USGS is here, the Maryland Department of Natural Resources.
And there were more than $1,000 in prizes for those fishing. And the time is now 5:53, and we are going to check in with our coastal pet of the day. And today's coastal pet of the day is enjoying a healthy snack. On your screen right now is Cece. Cece loves to snack, and right here she's enjoying a carrot. Cece was submitted to us by Pamela in Lincoln, and we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen, scan the QR code at the top of your screen, and submit your furry friend to Coast TV News. Then, of course, watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all of the pets we feature. It is 5:56, and we're going to take another look at your Monday morning forecast before you head out the door. And Bob, we have a beautiful Monday in store today.
I think so, especially to the afternoon, Elisa. This morning, though, clouds, maybe a few sprinkles as a cold front is working through. Otherwise, a northerly breeze dries us out, increasing sunshine this afternoon. Highs into the mid-80s, around 86, as that beautiful air mass is building in today through Wednesday. Overnight lows, beautiful. Great sleeping weather, mid-60s through Thursday morning. High only of 83 on Tuesday, 84 Wednesday, and then warming up to the end of the week with increasing humidity, 92 Friday, and the storms arrive, unfortunately, for the weekend. Maybe a few storms Saturday, 93, a better chance of those Sunday into early next week.
And coming up in our 6 o'clock hour, how to prepare for severe weather. As we are reaching peak hurricane and tornado season, we'll tell you what experts recommend you do to stay safe. Coast TV will be right back.